of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
So this week we watched Johnny Kapahala Back on Board. It's the 2008 sequel to the Disney Channel movie Johnny Tsunami. This movie finds Johnny going back to Hawaii to be in his grandfather's wedding. This movie was a lot of fun, Max.
Go ahead. I did enjoy it, but I watched it 3 times. And so that kind of took some of the fun out of it, because I watched it so many times and made so many notes.
It took you 3 times to enjoy it?
No, I enjoyed it on the first watch.
Really? Because I thought they took everything I loved from the first movie and ruined it. I found nothing in this movie enjoyable. Except for some of the editing. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. There was stuff I appreciated, but let's start with what you loved. How about we start there?
One of the things that I loved, obviously, is that, this is really Chris's story. And so one of the things that's interesting is that they make it a huge deal that Johnny has an uncle that's 12.
Yes.
And so that's kind of the main plot of the movie. And so Johnny Kapahala goes back to Hawaii and he meets his uncle. His uncle, who, fun fact, his name is also Johnny Kapahala, which gets very confusing for a little while until finally everyone just starts calling older Johnny Kapahala just John.
Yeah. That makes it easier. Yeah. So let's just call him John for this podcast.
So they just call him John.
Okay.
Also, it's the guy from Mortal Kombat. And so the thing that's crazy is that everyone's like, oh my god, he's 12 years old, Chris is 12 years old, Johnny has a 12-year-old uncle. But it's so the woman that Mortal Kombat is marrying is the woman from Teen Witch, and they have a 22-year age difference.
It's insane.
So it's of course she's going to have a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, I didn't find it that shocking.
But that's the huge reveal at the beginning of the movie, Johnny's just I'm so excited to finally meet my uncle.
Yeah.
I've always related to older people more. And then all of a sudden Chris runs in and he goes to his room and he's like and then Johnny has this moment where he's like, "What is that? What?" And then, Teen Witch just goes, "That's my Chris."
Oh, Chris.
But
what a lovely little kid.
But here's my thing that I enjoy is that structurally, the story is a lot like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, or Around the World in 80 Days. Where it's so you have the title character, mm-hmm. but they play more of the Campbellian supernatural aid / elder figure.
Yeah.
And so it's Johnny Kapahala's character is very set in stone, mm-hmm. And so we know who he is. We've already had one journey with him. And so his character's set in stone, and he's basically there to assist the plot along for this journey that Chris needs to go on about finding his new family.
Which is weird that the movie is called Johnny Kapahala, right?
Yeah.
It's not about him at all.
Yeah.
It is, kinda, but you're right. It's Chris's story.
Yeah. And so it's really just about Johnny being forced into the role of being Chris's parent and raising Chris and teaching him life lessons. And then 70% of the way through the movie, all of a sudden Johnny's like, "Man, I just really need to get this kid to like me." And it's why, bro? Why?
So, like,
You're being forced into this weird situation. Why do you want this to happen?
this is like the strangest wedding destination ever. Like, they go to Hawaii not just to attend this wedding, but to actually help them plan the wedding.
Yeah.
Which never fucking happens. And on top of that, help them open up a board shop, which happens to have the grand opening on the same day as the wedding, which makes
they
no
could have
fucking
planned that better.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about Chris. I
Love him.
loved him.
love him. Just a great character.
Oh man.
Just well rounded out. Actually, so my thing is that it's the opposite of that on a fascinating level. Because so he's your stereotypical like whiny brat that just like, you know, so we love Johnny Tsunami because like he's all about surfing.
He's cool.
He's all about
He's
riding
chill.
boards.
He's fucking nectar, dude.
Chill. He's fucking nectar, brah. And so that's why we love him. And so Chris is the opposite. You know, he's super whiny. Kid hates surfing. You know, he's all about hanging out with these dirt devils. and you know, he's this whiny little brat. He never wants to help out or do anything. He's like, fuck this room. Like, this room smells like fish. And Johnny's like, that's probably because like there legit might be fish still in here. And he's like, ew, gross. You can take this room back. Ugh. But the thing that's fascinating is that they never give you any of Chris's backstory. The only thing that you get is a line where he goes, yeah, I have family back in Philly.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
it.
I got real
That's
excited.
it. You never get that moment where like he sits down with, you know, Chris, like Johnny sits down on the bed with him and he's just like, you know, why do you act this way? And he's, you know, and then you have a character revealing moment where he's like, my dad walked out on us, Kay. Like, this isn't my choice to be here. You know, I was a mistake. You know, you never have like, you never have that moment where like you empathize
and
with
that's
the character.
why this movie is so fucking puzzling to me, because we get close like multiple times, and every fucking time it just ends in like, that's a cute little speech, Johnny, fuck off. It's like, what? Like, every single time there's like 3 different occasions where Johnny sits him down to have a heart-to-heart and Chris blows him off.
Yeah.
I've never seen that
You
before.
think I'm gonna remember this forever? Okay, bro.
Yeah, like I think they took it a little too far. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he eventually does come around though, towards
the last 10 minutes of the movie.
After he almost like destroys the marriage and the business and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah, that is kind of fascinating, isn't it?
I mean, all right. So can we go back to how did you feel about the opening sequence and the CGI for the dream?
Oh my god, I loved it. I loved it.
His arms were flailing around. And it looked like the part in RoboCop where they just throw a doll out a window.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was so shitty. I loved it.
Oh man.
So Sam has returned.
Yeah. Oh, he's returned.
But he has been replaced.
The fact that they could not cast the original actor and they decided to cast someone who looks nothing like him and someone who acts nothing like him is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, I didn't know it was Sam from the first movie until about halfway through the movie. And I was like, Sam, isn't the guy from the first movie? And I looked it up and it was the same character.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one of his Hawaiian friends, the way his grandfather introduces them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever. It was fucking bizarre, man.
Yeah.
Like, like Sam was a cool character. I liked him from the first movie.
Yeah, same.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy's not very good with computers, Max.
He is not. And that's just to reestablish the father's character trait that he is good with computers.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Sam is there. Sam is there really just to give Johnny rides everywhere. And you don't really know what Sam is doing other than showing up to give Johnny a ride everywhere. But also like,
or why he's
I
there.
love so you know, Johnny's like, you're driving past Grandpa's house, you know, blah blah blah. How are we gonna get to Grandpa's house? And they're like, well, we got you a ride. And then Sam's like, hey yo, bro, what up, dog? Sup, man? We've been through some stuff. I've been in Iceland the past 4 years. And I was like, okay, I now have no idea what the timeline for this or what ages anyone is. And then he drops Johnny off, and Johnny goes inside the house, and he's looking around, and his grandfather isn't there, and no one is there. And Johnny goes, right on, surf's up.
Oh my god!
And I love that so much. Also, did you notice that? So in that sequence, he's looking around the house and he looks at a photo, and the photo is just like the cover art / a still from the last movie.
Yeah. That was awesome.
It's so good.
And then so he goes to meet or see his grandfather, who's teaching Chris, who he doesn't know is his uncle yet, how to surf.
Why didn't he just tell him there?
I don't know, because they were too busy like talking about each other's haircuts, I think.
Yeah.
Because Big John cuts his hair, and then Johnny also cut his hair.
Yeah.
Also, John, he's like a way sadder character in this movie.
Yeah.
I miss the kind of jolly Johnny Tsunami from the first movie.
He still had that great laugh.
He did have the great laugh. Don't get me wrong, it was still there, but he just looked like I think this movie. So this movie came out in 2007. Yeah. So like 7 years after the first one. Yeah. But he looks like he aged a lot in those 7 to 8 years. Yeah. He's not looking too good. No. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I missed jolly old grandpa, but his laugh was there. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, like this movie is like, so they're there to for this wedding, and like they don't you don't even see them plan the wedding at all. The whole movie. Like Johnny's Johnny's mom until the day of
2 days before they're working on the wedding.
But it's just
you don't see any wedding planning. You just see them set up the rehearsal dinner.
But legit, everyone in this movie is like background noise for Chris. Like Johnny's parent, you don't even see Johnny's parents at all. Yeah, they're just like fucking like cleaning up the shop and I don't know, fixing computers.
There's also so. There's like a meet cute that happens with Johnny and Val, who is the woman from iZombie. She is the iZombie. That show's terrible. But so there's a meet cute, but the thing that's weird is that Chris is in love with her.
So yeah.
And so then later on, like, he goes and he teaches Val how to surf. Yeah. And Chris doesn't like that. And then even later on than that, Johnny has to be like, yeah, like, she's not my girlfriend. Like, don't worry about it. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then Chris meets her dad. And when Chris meets her dad, he's like, I'm Val's,
Yeah.
And it's like, you're her what? Nothing? Because you're a child.
And you're not even on the Dirt Devils, bro.
You're not even on the Dirt Devils. God, the fucking Dirt Devils. We're not even there yet. But like, but then, you know, and so Johnny has all these speeches, and like you said, you know, fucking Chris just like dismisses all of them. He's like, "Well, you're trying to have some fucking kind of like moment where you teach me a lesson? Like, fuck you, bro." and then it's you know, I texted you when I was just like, I had to turn this off because this is like my least favorite movie trope of all time, which is where the love interest has to be the one that pounds in, you know, the fucking the point home, and you know, she's just like, "You do have a family. I wish I had a family. My mom's not even on this island. She's on the mainland." And then he's like, "Oh shit, you right? Fuck." And it's just like, I just wish I understood the intricacies of the Chris Val dynamic, because it's so bizarre.
Because they don't have any interaction really in the movie, like one-on-ones besides that scene. So it comes out of nowhere. Like that scene should have been with, like, I don't know, his mom or something.
Yeah.
It was really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does have a crush on her. Pretty much everything he loves in life, Johnny ruins throughout this movie in some way.
Yeah. And you know, and so the movie's really like Johnny's just trying to relate to him. Johnny goes and he sees the Dirt Devils. Chris is eyeing up those Dirt Devils. He wants to hang out with them.
The Dirt Devils.
So here's a question: when Johnny shows up and he sees them mountain boarding and he talks to Chris and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And you know, they're asking him if he's ever ridden on a dirt board before, and he says a bunch of stuff and they're like, so that means no. And then he goes, "Yeah, I mean, like I surf." And then the one Dirt Devil, Jared, goes, "How Hawaiian of you." Is that super racist?
I don't know. I don't like.
That seems kind of racist.
And I think Johnny says, "What, are you not from here?" And he's like, "No, I'm just here for now." Or like I guess they're all like army brats
fucking,
or
like,
something.
Nomads, bro.
Like, I don't even fucking know who these kids are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand that whole team. I don't.
But my rooster says carving rock is gnarly, dude.
Dude, my favorite line is, I wrote down carving rock is gnarly, and then, and I never heard this term stack for like eating it, but they go, when you stack, you don't float, you bleed. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, so the first time we see the Dirt Devils is, I think, the first time Sam's giving Johnny a lift, and they see him like ripping down the road, and then it's like, and then this is our first introduction to that insane like editing and the crazy fucking like iMovie filters.
Yo, I also wrote down iMovie filters.
It was, I think they used all of them in this movie.
I wrote that down too.
Like, so you saw, and
the ending of the movie.
My God.
I was like, they pulled out all the filters for this ending.
Oh man, I mean, I think the one they kind of use a lot in the first half is that like fake film grain filter, which I loved. But yeah, Johnny, like, they fucking ripped down the road. Johnny's like, "Did you see that?" Like,
Sam's like, "Of course, I have eyes."
Yeah, like, I don't know. So this Dirt Devil team, it's a mountain board club and team, and they compete, I guess. Is that what the thing is? And they're trying to make it as mountain boarders? Yeah. And it's owned by Troy? Is that his name? No. Yeah. Troy? No, Troy's the blonde.
No, it is Troy. And I think that, you know, it's trying to be like Brink.
That's what it reminded me of, yeah.
And Brink was trying to be like, you know, Dogtown and the Z-Boys, where it was, you know, a skate shop has a team of kids that they put together and go to competitions and just dominate the competitions. Mm-hmm. And then basically from there, like, those kids would go on and get their own companies and their own sponsorships. But I mean, it's just super fucking dated. Like, that doesn't happen, like, ever anymore.
Especially not with fucking mountain boarding.
Yeah, especially with mountain boarding.
I mean, assuming that mountain boarding was really popular when this was released, which I don't think it was. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're all fucking terrible. All the Dirt Devils.
So you know, the introduction of the Dirt Devils. You know, so like Troy comes in, and Troy says he was like, you know, like, the world supplies the dirt, I supply the devil. And one of the things that I was thinking about, and once again, so I've seen this movie 3 times now, and one of the things is that Troy is a literal representation of evil. And so he, in this film, is the devil. Oh. Because he encourages abusive, cultish behavior. He also encourages theft, property damage, and breaking and entering. Mm-hmm. And if you notice this, so excluded from this is Val, because Val is kind of like not really part of the Dirt Devils, and we find out later that her father is actually, you know, kind of doing some stuff to undermine Troy. And so Val is excluded from this, and so Troy's true followers wear the skateboard shoe brand Fallen Footwear. And so this could be a coincidence, but it could be a nod to the fact that, like, the children are kind of like fallen angels in Hell's Army.
Do you think that's what they had in mind?
And I mean, it's weird that every single one of them that are like the true devouts within Troy's Dirt Devils, they all have fallen.
But that's all of them except for Val, right?
Yeah, and so Val isn't one of them. She isn't fallen yet. She doesn't commit crimes.
What kind of shoe does she wear?
She just wears like regular Vans, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
that's certainly possible.
And so, you know, it's he is evil, and he is the true antagonist, and you know that from day one, and he only gets worse.
Yeah, he does.
You know. And
comically worse.
It's amazing, you know. And so Chris is just, he really wants to fit in, and he really wants to be a part of these Dirt Devils, and so they're testing him, you know. It's like Christ.
Wait, Chris is Christ.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Max.
And so, you know, they're going to ride their dirt boards. They want to test him.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, they test him. Well, they test Johnny too, because they.
Yeah.
When they first meet Johnny, they say, well, you know, show me what you got, bro.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, well, not my favorite part, but my favorite part of this particular scene, they take him in to like gear him up, and like Johnny's like, yo, can I get some pads and helmet?
Yeah.
And Troy goes, safety first. And I was like everyone in this room they're wearing helmets and pads, bro. Yeah. Like, you guys are on a professional team. What do you mean safety first? Like, yeah. And yeah, so I thought this was gonna be another scene where Johnny's like learning how to fucking rip it on a mountain board, and nope, he just eats it. He just eats it.
Yeah.
And I think Chris kind of kills it in this scene, right?
He does fine, and, you know, like, he and Johnny are up at the top of the mountain, and Johnny's like, I don't think we should be here, and Chris goes, you're the only one who shouldn't be here.
Ugh.
And you know, like, so Johnny eats it, and then, you know, Chris is like, so, like, Jared, or whatever his name is, when can I be a part of the fucking Dirt Devils? And he's like, you still gotta prove yourself. You gotta prove yourself to me. And he's like, I'll do it right now. And he's like, let's go to this fucking nightmarish hellscape, and you'll fucking ride down this board, and you'll probably kill yourself, and it's called, like, the toilet bowl or something. And he's like, I can fucking do it. I'll do it now. And they get there, and Johnny's like, man, this ride sketch, man, like, there's no shame in bailing. And Chris is like, you're not a fucking pussy. And then the cops show up.
Yeah.
And this leads to one of my favorite lines, which is, so the cops bring them back to the board shop, which the parents are setting up. And the cop says, this is Chris's second warning. Next time, it's Wiki Wiki to the Juvie judge. Now, I didn't look up what that means.
You didn't?
I would love to know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Also, is there a 3-strike rule for juveniles in Hawaii?
I guess so.
Like, what else did this shit do?
And that's, you know, so you know, like, Chris is, of course, like, he runs in and he's like, fuck this place, and, like, everyone's, you know, glad that they're safe and everything, but also mad that, you know, the cops had to punish them, and and Chris is just like, I love how they're working on the shop, and Chris is just like, this place is gonna crash and burn.
Like, that's his future.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, Chris is just a brat.
He's worse than a brat. He's terrible.
Yeah,
like,
he's really
there's
harsh.
nothing likable about him.
Yeah.
Even at the end when he's kind of redeemed, he's he's still the whole movie. I just back in my head, I'm like, this kid, like, I don't think he changed. Like, I seriously, I just think he felt bad for his mom. But
yeah, and I was really confused. Like the whole thing seemed like it seemed like the mom, Teen Witch, was just trying to like get money from John,
So okay, so her backstory is her father owned the board shop. He passed away. She inherited the board shop.
Yeah.
She moves to Hawaii and then meets John.
Yep.
They fall in love.
Yeah.
So her plan, they keep saying that she has to open it or she's going to lose everything.
Yeah.
So why isn't she just, like, I don't know, instead of uprooting your your son, and I don't know if she was married, like, before, like, I don't know what happened, but instead of uprooting them and going to Hawaii, why don't you just sell it? Like, that seems like a crazy thing to do, to move across the country and open up a fucking board shop in Hawaii.
Especially
knowing nothing about anything about that industry.
Especially when you show up and you see that the board shop that your father said that he owned is basically a shell of a shop with fucking, like, nothing in it.
Exactly. And right across the street from, like, a super high-end, it's not a surf shop, but it's a board shop, skateboards and mountain boards. It just seems absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
But I loved it. But yes. Yeah. So, I mean, we could probably skip a lot of, like, the plot points in this movie because, like, the same fucking thing happens. Like, Chris gets challenged to do something and then he does it, but then something else happens and then he has a fight with Johnny and then Johnny does something else and he, like, kidnaps him and then they go do another thing. There is that one scene in the middle of the movie where, like, Johnny kidnaps somebody, like, blackmails Chris into going with him for the day. And they actually have a good time. They go to Val's, and this is where we learn that Val is, like, fucking mega wealthy.
Yeah.
Like, huge estate, and her dad apparently owns a bunch of real estate in Hawaii. Yeah.
My dad likes to own things.
Yeah, that's what she says. Her mom is back in Chicago for whatever reason. And they rip it up on some four-wheelers and they go mountain boarding all day. And this is like the fucking the training montage that I was waiting for, because they show Johnny and Sam how to mountain board, which is pretty sick. And then we learn in this scene that Chris is really good, because before I think he ate it with Johnny, but in this scene he was really good.
Yeah, he crushes it.
Yeah. And they have a great day. And then right after this, there was another scene where fucking Chris freaks out at him again. They fight. That's why I didn't.
And that's all right. So fucking like Chris, let's just skip the whole mountain boarding promo and just basically say, like, a bit of contention happens and Chris really wants to fucking mountain board, and he gets challenged again by Jared for the billionth time, and he's like, we're gonna do it tomorrow at 3, and then Johnny's like, you're gonna help with the wedding, and he's like, no, I'm not, I'm gonna go do my jump, and he's like, you're gonna fucking help with the wedding, and then Chris tricks him and he's like, I'll help you with the wedding, and then he leaves. And how did Johnny not flip the fuck out when Chris stabbed the fucking tire of the Jeep?
Yeah, he had a knife.
Yeah,
because this kid should be in Juvie, like.
Because he's like, oh man, I got a flat tire. It's like, yeah, because that dude fucking stabbed your fucking tire. Like, what the fuck?
He slashed the tires in the car. I know he said it like he just got a flat or something, but it was.
No, that child 100% stabbed your fucking tire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he does the big jump and fractures his arm.
He fucking breaks his arm.
Yeah.
And then that's when Teen Witch is like, John, I can't marry you. I'm gonna move back to Philly. And it's like, really? Like, that's all it took? This one thing? that clearly means you didn't love him at all.
Yeah.
You clearly just liked the fact that he was going to help you fix your business.
And she even said it at the beginning of the movie. She's like, this is a Hawaiian vacation. She says something like that. Like, this is kind of just like a vacation for her, like to get away from whatever they were dealing with back in Philly.
That's so, yeah, I don't know.
Poor John. I felt bad for John, dude. I was like, this guy's in a shit hand. He fell for this crazy bitch and her insane fucking monster of a son.
Yeah.
They're ruining everything. He cut his hair. The dude's wearing suits now. Like,
yeah, he's meeting with banks. He's getting loans. Like, yeah.
It's a shame. But it all works out in the end, as every Disney movie does.
Fucking all right. So Johnny says to John, he says, "We just gotta do what we can to make everything Pono again." And so they say Pono like 5,000 times in this movie, and they say it so much, and they use it for so many different things, and of course, from the first movie, we know that Johnny's nickname that his grandfather gave him is Pono.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up Pono, because I was very confused. Pono means righteousness.
Okay.
So I'm now more confused.
Are there multiple, like...
definitions? No.
Yeah.
Is the answer.
It's just righteousness?
And so Johnny's nickname is Righteousness.
So we have to make everything righteousness.
We have to make everything righteousness again. Or
does that doesn't make sense, right?
No, it yeah. So anyway, Troy's trying to overthrow the business. He succeeds. They destroy the business.
He sends his little goon kids to destroy the business.
Yeah.
Trashes it. And so a big part of this movie too is about the businesses, which it was like all about, and there's a whole like subplot of Troy catching wind that John's starting to sell mountain boards in his shop.
Yeah.
He has like fucking like 4 boards.
Yeah.
He's just selling them because obviously it's like a semi-popular sport and he wants to fucking make some money. Like he's not turning his whole shop into a mountain board shop. I mean, what does Troy really have to worry about? That's my thing. Exactly.
And then even so he sabotages the shop and they fix everything up again. And then Troy's like, "What? So like you got like 4 boards now? Like that's what you're gonna do?" And then they bring out like that. I guess he's a pro mountain boarder, whatever.
Yeah.
So then that guy shows up and he's like, "Hey, I brought 2 boards." And it's like, "Oh, everything's saved. The day is saved." And Troy's just like, "I'm gonna fucking end your fucking life. I'm gonna fucking ruin your fucking business. And I'm never gonna stop until you're fucking dead. Until you're fucking dead, Johnny Tsunami. I don't fucking care." And then Johnny K is like, "Yo, I don't even think you can mountain board."
Oh, shit.
And he's like, "You fucking think I can't mountain board? I'm gonna fucking destroy you. Fucking destroy you on the fucking mountain, kid." And so, just to match up with the last movie, there's a stupid mountain race.
But okay, this is another this opens up a can of worms. This whole scene. So Johnny challenges Troy.
Yeah.
Which again, like this movie's about fucking Chris.
Yeah.
It should have been Chris. And he even says it. Like, Johnny's like, "Man, you should be racing him. You're way better than I am." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, you should. Why are you racing him?"
And then Chris goes, "Nah, man, this is just snowboarding with wheels."
After the first scene where Johnny is mountain boarding, I think he says, "This is nothing like snowboarding." So
he was wrong.
So okay, so the race takes place at a mountain board park, which is built, I'm assuming, the day of by Val's father.
Yes.
At this point in the movie, we realize Val's father is like insanely wealthy.
Yeah.
He's able to buy a piece of property in a day and convert it into a full mountain board park. Which made me think, like, why? And it seems like he's willing to buy whatever Val wants. So he could have just, like, completely, like, I don't know, like, even with the shop, like, just completely fix the shop, or just buy the shop from fucking from John and whatever his wife's name is. What I'm getting at is, like, it seems like he has limitless financial means to do whatever needs to be done, yet or whatever. Anyway, the race begins, and we get and Johnny he's a fucking monster at monster boarding now. After that one day, and we get some of the best filters in this scene.
And just, this is like the 7th amazing song in the movie.
Oh yeah. Now, I like the music from the first movie better.
Oh yeah.
It was way more ska focused. I feel like this movie, I mean, they were just ripping off, I guess, contemporary songs of 2008. So it was like, there's like Chili Peppers and like Smash Mouth and shit. Like, I don't know. Smash Mouth wasn't 2008 though.
No.
There's a song that sounded just like Smash Mouth. But we get the sickest filters in the scene. We get like the inverted colors and the film grain. We get so many, and they're back to back.
We get that filter where everything's black, and then there's just like weird grainy white outlines of things.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they went all in.
So of course Troy is clearly better than Johnny.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal.
And Johnny wipes out. Like they get kind of close, and Johnny wipes out, and I was like, watch. Troy's gonna try some cool trick, and he's gonna wipe out. So he tries a cool trick, he wipes out. Johnny does the same trick, he lands it, and then he wins.
Yep.
And then Troy gets to the finish line, he gets arrested, because Jared was like, hey, this old dude made me steal stuff. And the cops are like, yeah, you're busted, Pono. It's Wiki Wiki to the not Juvie judge.
It's Wiki Wiki.
It's Wiki Wiki. And then, like, Teen Witch and Mortal Kombat get married.
Yeah.
Because she's like, it'd be a shame to waste that wedding dress.
Yeah. Yep, they have the wedding.
And then that's
Chris is chill. Yeah. That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
And, like, fucking iZombie is clearly just supposed to be a replace for Xenon.
Yeah.
They look the same.
But nothing really happens between those two.
Nothing.
They don't really, like, they don't kiss.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like this weird, kind of like the first movie, it was excusable because they were like 9 years old. And it's fine that they had like a casual flirt type thing.
Yeah.
But in this movie, they're both, I don't know, like fucking like 16, 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, a little kiss would have been nice to kind of seal the deal. But,
I'll be honest, with either Chris or Johnny.
Yeah, even if it was just like an innocent kiss to Chris, you know what I mean, on the cheek or something. Like,
nah.
They don't interact at all.
I'm looking for that down the
Which is, it's so fucking weird. This whole movie's about Chris, and then right when that stupid race starts, Chris is like pushed to the back of the line, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's, once again, like, I watched this movie 3 times because I was like, this is fascinating.
You watched it 3 times?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because it's fascinating.
Yeah, but it was not a good movie. And I don't, like, did you enjoy this movie?
Not really.
Because I actually really enjoyed Johnny Tsunami.
Johnny Tsunami's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, this movie's not fun because your main protagonist is Chris, and he's the worst.
Yeah.
And they never make you empathize for him.
And Big John's like a sad boy.
And Big John is a sad boy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's strange. It's so weird. It's
a weird movie.
I do like that his dad Johnny's dad, like the lessons he learned in the first movie have carried with him. Like he seems like a cool dad now, like a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like chilling, like helping out and being really nice to everyone. The first movie, he was a fucking asshole.
Oh yeah, he was terrible.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of the weirdest movies I've seen on, like, well, weirdest Disney Channel movies I've seen. Like, this one was fucking.
That's my grandson.
Hey, Pono.
Pono.
There wasn't enough of that in this movie.
There's also one time where he legitimately laughs like a normal person, and I got real confused.
I think Sam and Johnny were making fun of the Dirt Devil slang at one point. And I was like, do you guys not remember what you said 8 years ago in the first movie? Like,
do you guys not remember what you were saying in this movie?
it's very true.
Because they say bra like 9,000 times in this movie. This movie's way worse than the first one.
Way worse. Way worse. But, like, I don't know, dude. The action, all the action sequences are fucking amazing, though. In a very, like, bad way.
Oh, my God. The fucking skateboarding part on the barge.
Oh.
Oh, it was so good. I didn't know you were gonna be like fucking Tony Hawk. Oh,
Suck, Johnny.
It's like, fuck you, you piece of shit.
And he runs away for the fucking 20th time in this movie.
Damn it. He runs past Johnny's mom and like almost knocks down like her souffle or whatever.
Yeah.
And fucking Johnny walks past. He just like fucking like shoves his hand in her face. He's just like, it's whatever. Like I'm gonna deal with it. He's like, why won't this kid like me?
Fucking.
It's like, this isn't your responsibility. Someone else should be raising this child.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why you're in this situation.
Anyone else?
Um,
Let's start with trivia. There's just one. It's the actor who plays Chris, Jake T. Austin's. It was his first Disney production, and he would go on to co-star in the Disney Channel original series Wizards of Waverly Place.
oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he
was
Gomez?
like he was a little brother in that, but he wasn't a complete asshole, I don't think. All right, so some goofs. There's like 5 in total. All right, so in the first movie, Johnny's last name was spelled Kapahala, which is like it looks like a more like Hawaiian version, and then but in this movie it's spelled the way it is in the title.
Yeah.
So they changed the spelling for some reason. Chris breaks his left arm, but when he falls down, he's holding his right arm. So there's that. In the beginning, Johnny is shown standing atop the mountain with his goggles on. In the next shot, he is putting the goggles on again.
Nice.
Good catch. Chris wears a red shirt with a number 12 on the back. On his right sleeve is also the number 12, but on his left sleeve, he wears the number 21. A lot of kids were just wearing shirts with numbers on them in this movie, I've noticed.
Also, Johnny has a shirt that just says Hawaii.
Yeah, I saw
on
that
it.
one. That was a sick one. They're like, no effort was made. During the final race scene, like they just like went in the fucking Disney Channel costume closet and just were like, can we get some Hawaiian themed t-shirts and some numbers? During the final race scene, Troy is mountain boarding in the race, but in one scene he is riding Goofy, then in the next he's riding regular. This is because a stunt rider boards regular while Troy, the actor, rides Goofy. I paused it when Johnny was hitting a jump in that last race, and I paused it right when it cuts to the stunt guy, and you could clearly see his face, and it was like a 35-year-old man. It was so dope.
That's amazing.
Oh boy. All right, so what are we doing next week, Max?
Next week we will be watching the Asylum film Mega Piranha.
Hell yes.